South Africa has more coronavirus cases than any other country in Africa, with almost 640,000 cases reported there. South African students started returning to school weeks ago, but it's become a very huge challenge for them. As Debora Patta shows us, many have had to adapt to a whole new way of doing things.
South Africa is a deeply unequal society, which meant during its hard lockdown, thousands of children like these had no learning at all because of a lack of access to technology, forcing educators to come up with creative solutions.
Online learning is all very well if there's good internet in your neighborhood, but if you live in a poor township and don't even have electricity, it's impossible. So for many students in South Africa, going back to school was the only solution. Access to resources may differ from school to school, but protocols are the same. Temperature checks, masks, hand sanitization and social distancing. Dendron Secondary School in an impoverished rural area took it one step further.
Every child here in this classroom knows that an education is their only ticket to a better future, and they were not going to let a pandemic stand in the way of that.
While other children were playing during South Africa's hard lockdown, these final year students moved in with their teachers who supervise their studies in small home groups.
There are four people in each room, and we get lunch there after school.
Popana Lepalala is Dendron's top performing student.
It's important because getting a good education, especially in South Africa, it sort of like determines where you're going to end up in life. So you need to get a good education so you can get into a good university or even just become someone better as yourself.
To make up for any lost time, these students are now at school every day from 7 in the morning until 9 at night, 7 days a week.
What are you going to do with your English?
Principal Maloko Matsapola is teaching a larger lesson.
In life, there's no excuse. There's no certificate that will be written COVID. I believe that nothing beats the human spirit.
At an elite all-girls school in Johannesburg, access to technology has made the physical challenges posed by the pandemic easier to manage. The younger grades rotate between in-person and online learning so that strict social distancing can be maintained in classrooms to accommodate only 15 students at a time. But there are still emotional concerns.
For some of the girls, being isolated and not being able to spend time with their friends was really, really difficult. We had quite a number of parents phoning and saying, my daughter's, for the first time in her life, she's experiencing anxiety or depression.
The school psychologists have been offering counselling services, but for the most part, South African scholars have adapted quickly to schooling in a COVID world.
At the beginning of this pandemic, there were infection outbreaks in some schools, but since health protocols have been adopted nationwide, most schools are managing to keep their children safe from COVID. For CBS This Morning, Debora Patta, Johannesburg.
Gloria, thanks, Debora. We're all trying to keep up with all of this that's going on. I think sometimes a lot of people forget the impact that it has on children, and it's good to have the iPads and computers, but it doesn't matter if you don't have Wi-Fi, like some of them don't have in those townships. They so value education. And then what it means to be able to socialize with your friends is so important.
Yeah, and as she pointed out, isolation for some kids is way more impactful than others.
Yes.
But
for adults too, Anthony.
Absolutely. I think the psychological impact of this is really yet to be fully measured.
I agree.
I wonder what American teachers are thinking as they see students moving in to get the work done.
Yes.
New meaning to the term boarding school.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.